All right. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Sunday. Hopefully, y'all had a great day yesterday, and one today as well. And welcome to another stream. The I was hoping to get a little bit more done yesterday evening. I just didn't get around to do too much as I was hoping for. And I wanted to start the stream with answering a question somebody asked on yesterday's stream. One of the viewers was asking about like how my interactions work when it comes to picking up an item. Like you see the hand reaching out, and yeah, it's pretty basic. But he was also wondering if after that, it's possible to, or they, I don't know. Um, they were asking whether after that, you can like play something else to actually equip the weapon. So you pick it up and you just go straight to equipping it. So now I'll just show you how I've set up my interactions. It's again nothing too complicated, but it's more of I think the order of operations that um, hopefully that would explain some things and help you out. So let's take a quick look just to go into game mode and whoops, I didn't want to fly the plane just yet. Um, let me just start with kind of the from like a dev perspective here, right? So now um, all my items behave the same way when it comes to picking it up. So you would walk up to it, um, and the depending on um the way I have this set up is through dot product. So basically you don't have to look like strict directly at it, like you would do maybe with a line trace. Like a line trace setup would have to be right on the object. For me, like I can look away, look away, look away, look away to maybe about here, right? So I can adjust that. I think I have this dot product set at maybe a 0.98 or something like that. But I can get a little bit more precise so that you would probably start being able to interact with it at around this point, right? So not really looking straight at it, but not like all the way. I think now that I'm looking at it, it might be a little too far off all the way up here. So now when you pick up the item, there's this little animation that happens, and then the actor gets destroyed. So let me show you how I do that. So all of that is handled on my interactable items. So if you were to say, maybe for this item, I want a different type of interactions. Also, I want to play an interaction depending on where the object is situated versus my character. So you can do that as well. I wanted to keep that separate from the player, so it's just on the interactable items. So also my interactable items, they have this little sphere here, so they trigger an overlap when the player overlaps with it, and only then is when I start doing the dot product, so I can like see whether I can interact with it or not, and also show the outline. Okay, so when um, when you were to interact with it, so this is just done through an interface when the uh, character, when you as a player press E to interact, there's this message being sent through, and whoever implements it can receive it. And so, I'm just doing some checks to see if I already have this item. For some of the items, especially like weapons, I don't want to set them so you can, grab multiple rifles. But what happens is once you add it to inventory, on my character, I'm playing this little animation here, which is called it's loot kind of. I think I might have gotten it from Mixamo. So you can see like the arm is reaching out and just grabbing something. And especially with depending on the animations that you can find, in the case of this, once it hits this anim notify, grab item, and you will see it here. Once it hits the grab item, at that point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to update, my inventory display if I have such a thing, for the UI. Then I'm going to clear um, the little outline around it. And then destroy the actor. Now, what you could do if you were to also equip the weapon, like you pick it up and you also equip the rifle. Say in my case, for example, if I was to do that, once this ends, once the grab item is completed, or at any other point during the animation, like maybe say you want to go all the way to here, and then at that point you want to play the next montage, which would be the equip montage, and that should do it. Of course, you might want to do some other things on your end, depending how you set up your inventory, your weapon states. Like, is it an equipped state? Is it like a so just to make sure that, for example, you're not also able to fire when you're like equipping it. So uh, hopefully that helps you out. I'm sorry, I know I had the um, your username, and my apologies. Let me see if I can. So at least I can relate to FPS Whip SX, I think. So hopefully that helps you, Whip SX, with this. Okay, so let's get back into the main world, and what I was planning to do today. A little snag that I ran into yesterday or yesterday and today, and I'm trying to figure out is the point that you jump out of the plane. Um, for whatever reason, in the main level, it sends you to 000 in the world instead of like the 4 point on the ground. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. So I'll show you a little bit of how the flight looks just from a visual perspective. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do like the full flight, fall, hit the ground, get up, and go about the business. We might be able to do it just from starting it from that point in the game, so without the plane flight. So we'll try and do that and see how things are working out. And we'll also add a little bit of a bow, for you to pick up, and we'll try that out as well. All right. So I think everything is loaded in here. Okay, so for starters, let's take a look at um, the flight path, right? I was trying to refine it a little bit, but I thought I'd kind of share it with you as well, just how the plane is kind of going along the line, and what I'm doing to try and make it as realistic as a flight as possible. Um, it's a video game, so realism is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. So it's kind of with a grain of salt kind of thing. So, all right. So let's take a look. Just mainly flying the airplane, and it doesn't do any kind of jerks or any kind of like weird movements. Like it flies on the side, like it's a Blue Angels type of like flight school. So it's just like a regular little Cessna airplane that flies around. All right, so let's take a look. I'm just gonna keep an eye on this and see how things are kind of progressing. So the flight is going this way, and we're flying, and we're flying. And over here is a little bit too much. Like I think this could be adjusted a little bit so that this point, maybe we can make it so it's not this kind of like really aggressive type of fighter aircraft. All right, so let me see if I can get this one like maybe like this. I think I made it worse. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult with these points to smooth them out, I would say. All right, so that kind of seems okay. And then let's also adjust this one here. All right, so let's try and get this moving. Let's see if this one is a little bit smoother. So it goes like this. I think that's a little bit better, but it's still kind of banking a little too much, I think. So let's try and smooth this out a little bit as well. When it comes over the mountainside there. And on this point, I think it's got to go the other way a little bit. So let's go by 45 degrees. All right, so it's kind of coming down, banks a little bit. This kind of movement here is a little weird. So let's see, can we get this one? I think we want to straighten this line out a little bit. Maybe like this. So over there, it should be turning the other way. All right, so we're flying. And then let's see, where's the next point? Is this one over here? Let's try and actually just, I haven't really played with the individual spline points too much as far as rotation goes or anything else like that, but I'm going to try and reset these. And let's align it a little bit so it's not a roller coaster. And then probably going to try and push it out a little bit, like over the lake. Let's also try and get this one a little smoothed out. There we go. It's a little bit better. I think it just comes a little too hard into this bend here, and that's what might be throwing it off. So these lines are really actually pretty helpful with these tangents, so I think you don't want to go over it like this. So just I'm trying to keep it like so. Okay, let's try this again and see how the flight is going. Definitely a little smoother. Oh, that's still this point here that is not, it's kind of like pushing it to the side for whatever reason. See, like that little point there? But over here, and kind of turning the bend is a little bit better. Might be a little too much, but let's try and adjust that. So I think we can try going with this one here. Let's see if it makes it a little bit, not so drastic. I think that's a little better. So then it comes around, and then over here, I think this one could also benefit from a little bit of this going this way. Maybe not so much because it's gonna start straightening out. Yeah, so it's kind of still banking, kind of going to the side. Then we're gonna need to do it on that end. Let's see over here. All right, so it's coming into the valley. Yeah, see, this part here is kind of annoys me a little bit. I can't really make it if it's coming out of, this guy or the next point. So let me try and make it like this. All right, so over here, this could start a little bit now. Kind of going like this, maybe 25, 30 degrees. All right, so now let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, we're going through trees because that's how planes fly. But yeah, okay, so that removed that kind of jerkiness where it was jumping from side to side. There's a little bit over here. Like see like that little bump, and I can see it from this angle a little bit better. You can see that it's not just uh it goes like this and then whoops shoots straight up. So let's see if we can adjust that. Okay, that's I think a little closer. So let's try this. Let's see. Yeah, I think that I didn't see that anymore, or at least I didn't see it. Seems a little smoother. Turning around. Then let's do where is that one? So all the way back here. So then over here it needs to turn and it goes this way towards kind of where the town is. I think I can lift this up a little bit. And then we need to bank like this. Let's see, 45 degrees. All right, so let's try that. There you go. So it banks around there, then levels out. Oh yeah, and you don't see the town because I have it unloaded. I'm trying to play around with like the load times in the game as well, just to figure out how I can get the things that I need to be visible loaded and quicker, right? So hopefully once I put them into like pack level actors, there's not going to be that many actors in the world because they're all going to be instanced. But I'm not entirely sure if that also is going to have a positive impact on load times. All right, so let's see. So this one kind of goes around, and then I think this one banks on this corner. It banks okay. Goes back, it kind of banking over there, over here. Keeps on going. There's a little jerkiness over here still. Like right at that point. Let me see, where is that? Is that the one that I think is this one that I was just playing with. So hit this one here. Let's see, can we make it so it's a little bit, oh yeah, so this is, I think that was the tangent, right? So let's try and make it so it's really a tangent and not an intersection. Let's try it now. Yeah, there we go. There's that jerkiness that is not there anymore. Okay, so it's a little bit better. It's still not the best, but there's a flight going on. Let's just lift some of these points up a little bit because they hit the trees. They look a little weird. So let's see, or the mountainside. All right, so it starts over here and it kind of goes through these trees over here. So which one can we lift? Let's try and lift this up a little bit like that. And I might want to try and get this like so. And maybe put another one in here, another point, just so that maybe it does that little kind of dramatic look of, like coming over the ridge and, there's like the valley type of thing. All right, so let me see, how can we adjust this so it's not, it doesn't do any kind of weird type of jerk. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so let's start it from 0. Yeah, so there we go. So this is all you see kind of as you start the game, and then as you keep on going, you come into the valley. It's a little bit of banking, not too much. That's kind of this turn here. So that's okay, I think. But then once it goes into this point here is where it kind of loses control a little bit. Let me try and make this one like that. And so then let's lift these up a little bit. So again, just above the treetops. And same for this one. This one was not so bad. It was actually kind of in a good position. And I think this one's gonna be cool because it's gonna bank right in between those two trees, and it should kind of make things seem a little bit more dire. As yeah, hey, the plane is really going down. If you didn't pick any of the other points, the last point is just gonna be a forced jump, right? So um, you know, like in the full game, the plan is to have those 3 points where you can jump. So I haven't picked the first point. I haven't picked the second point. At the third point, you kind of gonna get pushed out, so to speak. All right, so let's try and see how this one looks if some of that bumpiness got removed. All right, so we're flying, goes down into the valley. Still a little bit there. I don't really like. The good thing is that the plane doesn't fly very fast, so um, you know what you're seeing here is just the inability of the distance along spline to keep it pretty smooth, or at least the way I have it set up. Hey Hamza, welcome, welcome, hello. All right, so let's go into game and we'll see how this flight goes. Just to warn you, you can skip ahead maybe about a minute or so because it takes, I've timed it, it takes about 45 seconds to a minute to load, unfortunately. So bear with me once this one is loading. And that's what I'm trying to look into, and whatever I can find, I'll try and share it with you. You know, like again, my world has um, literally, you know, you put in actors into the world, you drop them in, and yeah, you end up with 50,000 actors in my case here. I'm not sure if that's a really big number, that's a really small or a smaller number for the size of what I have. But as far as loading goes, I'll try and discover some more and share it with you guys. And yeah, so let's take a look. Let me make sure that I'm actually running this on like a full start and not just in dev mode. Yep. Okay. So let's start. Yeah, the other thing is, I think I might have mentioned this before, in 5.3, 5.2, 5.1, these nodes here that I was able to track and have a little bit of a loading screen seem to work. With ever since 5.4, I've not been able to use the same functionality I had before. So I'm not entirely sure if this got broken, if it got changed. I haven't seen anything to it, and there's very little documentation on this. So um, yeah, I'm still trying to see if this can be worked out. All right, let's jump into game. Again, bear with me for maybe a minute or so. Hey, Uga Bunga. Yeah, awesome, awesome name. Yeah, it is frustrating. There's definitely I think the most frustrating part is like you go from a minor release to another minor release, and it's like some things doesn't don't work. And I've seen this happen with some other stuff, and luckily they got fixed between 5.4 and 5.5. But yeah, it's still frustrating. So yeah, I totally hear you. Um, and with the slowness is mainly around when you load into a world partition level. And again, I'm not entirely sure if it's something that I'm doing on my end, because it's also new. And the sample projects that I've seen, they're not very complicated. You know, they're just like some worlds that get built, and they don't have a lot of actors. I actually need to check out because I think that one has a bigger number of actors. The city sample, I can't remember how fast you load into that. I also didn't haven't built HLODs yet, so I think that's also part of the issue. So yeah, but again, that's why I'm also doing these streams. So as I find things out, I'm gonna share them with you guys. All right, so let's start. Unfortunately, the hand positioning on the rudder is not perfect at the moment, just because um, I was refactoring the plane, and um, I re-exported the skeleton, and I didn't place um, the the sockets back where they're supposed to. But you can see like the hands follow the movement of the rudder, so you're kind of like and and so it you know you kind of like get a little bit of input even though you can't really control it. So you can look around, this is the speed of flight of a snail. But so what would happen is um, there'd be like a malfunction happening, and there'd be smoke coming out of the engine right now. The particle effect, I just didn't get it to work. So, but yeah. So this is the current flight path. I just wanted to see. It doesn't seem to be as jerky when you actually in the airplane as it was, and I think I can like speed it up a little bit. It still seems like it's flying in slow motion at the moment, so I can definitely improve the speed. But you can see like the plane is like banking, and yeah, the rudder is actually going the opposite rotation, so I need to flip that around so it kind of follows that. Um, yeah, so that was I think that was kind of nice to fly in between the trees. So let's see, this one's going to be it back here when you fly. So this one is one of the jump points, and I hope that's not the one that I need to go to. I think that might have been the one that I needed to jump out of. All right, so this is where the spline ends, and uh, I've didn't make it too too far. Yeah, I've been experimenting warp partition mix with the nanite on every. Oh, okay. So that is actually a good point. I've had like mixed results with nanite. Um, what I did notice is some, even though as the stats go, kind of a decrease in the draw call. So maybe it does a little bit better thing as at instancing, the assets that I don't already have instance. So thank you so much for telling me that. I'll definitely give it a try and see if I can if I can get any benefit out of it. Like I said, with Nanite in it requiring that virtual, I think it's what is it called, the virtual shadow maps versus the regular shadow maps. When I turn on virtual shadow maps, I've noticed a drop in performance. So that's why I was kind of staying away from it. But yeah, let me see if I turn it on because also most of my assets are not Nanite. So we'll see. Thank you so much. Um, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So Ogabunga, actually, I was going to ask if you're, I would love to share some insight with you, or you share some insight with me. If I have you on Discord, please join and we can chat. Maybe help some other folks on there. Hey, World Unbound, welcome. Um, so the plot of the game is, as you can, you might have just joined. You saw like that little plane flight. So you, oh yeah, hey, I appreciate that, Rugabunga. Thank you for joining. So basically, you start the game, and with this plane sequence. So the way this is, and oops, I'm not having that little Polaroid here anymore. I need to to see where that is. So your purpose is you're coming into this world looking for a couple of friends that you haven't heard from in a while, and that just to give you that idea as well as you talking on in the background. You have a little Polaroid with this two guys just smiling over there, and so you get into this world, and the plane has a suspicious malfunction, let's put it this way. And along the flight path, which is this little spline here, right? So along the flight path, there's going to be a couple of points, or 3 points actually, where you can jump out of the airplane, and it's counterintuitive, but like, anyways. So you jump out of the airplane before it crashes, and that's when you start the game. You land and you start the game. The one that I'm currently working on, just prepping for a demo, is this point back here, right? So once you fall out of the airplane, you kind of get up, you're low on health and whatever. So the areas that you're gonna fall in is something that we worked on a previous stream. I wanted to call them like a hero area just because I try to put a little bit more detail into them. So you fall out of the airplane, and you'll see that this area is kind of like a funnel, right? So it does give the player the opportunity to go into one end, but it's kind of going to be blocked, so you can't really go out of that. But so you're going to end up just going the way I kind of tell you to go, or like try to get you to go. So once you're out here, the first thing that you're going to do, there's going to be like a guy that's being taken hostage by the bad guys. And once you do a stealth takedown on the bad guy, you're going to interact with this guy, and he's going to give you your first mission, and that would be to rescue his wife, which is somewhere at this location here, which is something that we were going to work on, but it's not loaded. So why isn't that loaded? Which is like a motel. So let me actually load everything on the island here so that you can see the world a little bit better. There's a lot of things that I haven't loaded. So as you progress and do some of these missions, you're trying to find these two guys. And what the bad guys have done is kind of here in town, they have separated the town area just to kind of control the people a little bit better. And they've separated them into 4 zones, and you'd be able to travel between these zones and get some more missions from the NPCs while you help them out, and they're going to share some details of your friends. And so yeah, the this is kind of this would be, let me see if I can hopefully not jerk this thing too much around here, but this would be like a zone 1 back here. Just going to zoom out from here. So you got a zone 1, then you got a zone 2, a zone 3, a zone 4 back here. Um, like there's like a little bit of a residential area over here. That's also where some of these people were taken out and brought into the main area of town. But there's going to be some bad guys hanging out here, and you're going to have some missions going on into this town. And like I said, along the motel as well. Also, there's a couple of missions that are going to involve for you to go right outside of town into this junk area to gather some parts. Um, and yeah, the world itself, has a couple of a few more locations, like some warehouses here where you're going to need to free up an engineer. Some of these antennas that are going to be used to set up like a triangulation device, so you can get a better pinpoint on the location of another person. and also kind of where the I wouldn't say the bad things happen necessarily, but like this is kind of the main base of the bad guys. This former like chemical plant, you can see like it's right next to the water, so they get water from it, and yeah, along with that, there's going to be the initially when I started working on this, I thought of it as having it as a bunker, but I thought, maybe it doesn't really, what was the bunker doing in this location? So I thought maybe like a hydroelectric dam would be better suited. So it'd be like the entrance to the dam around here and like all the dam interior with some of the apologies, the lighting is kind of messed up out here, but with some of the utilities generators, what have you, so this would be another location in the world. But yeah, so your scope, your purpose is to try and find your friends, and you need to complete some of these missions that you get from the from the NPCs. Some of them they're going to rescue, some of them that eventually going to interact with here in town, so just to give a little bit of a close-up look. And my apologies, like the frame rate is so bad because I haven't done literally no optimization on this, which I feel bad. But and plus I have some bunch of tabs open as well, so that doesn't really help. And yeah, so to once you help this guy out, the guy that's out here is gonna hand you over a little bit of a device that you can use and actually can if anybody's interested, I can jump in and actually, you know what? Let's actually do it. Let's instead of starting with the airplane and which that takes this minute to load, but let's skip over the flight path because as I was saying, I'm not sure why, but when you fall down here it actually falls to the center of the map, which is weird. But we'll fall down here, rescue this guy. He's gonna give us or actually maybe I haven't set it up. um, let's do that. Why not? Um, oh, hey, so somebody was asking, I've seen a couple of questions. Hey, Davron, CG, can you show how to create this wonderful mountain? So the mountain itself, it is not so much as um, I've had a landscape from like a free package from a while back, like a while back. And let me actually select these. So this is how it looks like, which is still a really nice sculpt. So I decided to use that height map in my project just to create the kind of the the boundaries of the world, So in this case, you kind of can tell that you're not going to be able to go, past this, right? And there's like some things in the background. The things in the background are these this package which was I think it might still be free on the marketplace where you have these like meshes for like really background mountains. And if you're interested, like I said, you can if you want to, there's a link to Discord on the description of this video, and I can share the link to some of those assets. But yeah, so this is how I started, with this height map, and then I've applied this material that I've had created in a tutorial on my channel a long time ago. And but then I felt, maybe it kind of looks, while it still looks okay, it kind of looks a little bit plain, maybe I could call it. So then I thought maybe just add these, like these little cliffs, these kind of rock outcroppings, formations, just to add a little bit more of a, you know, these pointed shapes, like for example, this one was, it wasn't flat necessarily, but it kind of felt like it really just looks like it's just landscape, So I thought that, adding some of these could give a little bit more of a mountainous type of shape to it. These are not the Alps, right? But they're tall-ish, so cliff-ish, cliff mountains, and placing the vegetation on the edges could also provide like a little bit of a you know uh, far away kind of distant looking thing, right? So yeah, that's how I did it. I did have, like I said, this height map from before, and there's quite a lot of them out there that you can get and just use to create like a outer perimeter to your world. So Hamza, optimizing work partition systems. So right now, a couple of the things that I'm trying to do, and I'm still just at the beginning of it, is so all of these, like I have, if I was to select all of these, there's like 90 of this type. And what I normally do, especially when it comes to these, if you right click and you go to level, I would create a pack level actor. So that would just create one actor that has an instance or a hierarchical actor inside of it with all these guys as instances, and then bring it down to one draw call. And this is one example. I have another one of these cliffs. This one's like 400 of them. And I think I have maybe 5 different rocks. So all of these put together into a pack level actor would make just 5 draw calls. In theory, I have to still verify that. My initial tests have been really good. And the same thing goes for, and the one thing about a pack level actor that I like is it's non-destructive. So you can extract the meshes out of it if you know, if you want to make changes, it's a little bit easier than when I try to do it via like instancing, like set them up as instances. And the same would go for like the town, like the town you can see like all these lines, right? So all of these, they're all the same mesh, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So there's like hundreds of these that once you put it into either an instance actor or a pack level actor, it's going to be one draw call. So that's one of the ways that I'm doing it. And then I'm still trying to figure out HLODs. They're a little bit more of a subject that is not very much covered on YouTube or in any tutorials, and mainly because it seems to have changed between versions and minor versions quite a bit. So I'm planning to investigate like uh, that cityscape city sample from Unreal to see a little bit more of how the HLODs work there. So stay tuned. Hopefully, I'll be able to share a little bit more on that. But yeah, the first thing is to instance as much as you can. So mainly, when it comes to like these hand placed rocks, then very repetitive assets like walls, windows, um, sidewalk items. Like for example, this stuff here. This is 20 of these instances. So things like that. Oh, thank you, Uga Buga. Thanks so much. Yeah, that was I mean, if you're referring to the interior or this one, yeah, I still create a bunch of the 3D assets myself when I can find them. So yeah, you'll see some things that might not be part of a package out there or anything like that. Yeah, yeah, you're probably not referring to this, maybe the interior, but yeah, and the interior was like the little entrance here. This was also, again, it's one of those things where it's got like a bunch of repetitive meshes, and once you make them instance, you cut your draw calls by a lot, and that's kind of the main killer of performance from what I could tell. Um, and World Unbound, how do you deal with lighting interiors? So um, it's actually um, pretty, I wouldn't say necessarily straightforward, but with Lumen is actually kind of simple. So let me go to an interior here that's getting some lighting. Let me find one. Do I have anything out here? Let's see. This might not be the best example. And I was playing around with the, yeah, okay, so this one could be a decent example, I would say. And while I'm here, let me also adjust the directional light. I've been playing around with the directional light a little bit recently, and there's this one setting in it. You can see like it's like really leaking through the walls. But let me see if I can also show you that. And if you're interested, here's some of the settings that I currently have for, my post-process volume, and when it comes to global illumination and such, as well as kind of like the directional light. So with the directional light, I try to give it, some indirect lighting intensity, so that way it's got some of that bounce lighting. Um, so hey, Bob, welcome. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Yeah, uh, yeah. So World Unbound. Let's see, and the other some basic stuff. It doesn't really affect just the looks of it, but feel free to pause this um, and get back at it later on. Also, the dynamic shadow distance, I've kind of bumped this up a little bit more because if you really, and I can share, let me see if I can tweak that value, and I'll show you why I kind of brought it up to this level. So if you look at there in the distance, if I reset it to a default value, well, it's not necessarily bad, but it's kind of like the sun is shining through the mountains. So if you're looking at it from over here, like you're going to have access to this observation tower. So if you look at it through here, it's kind of an unnatural light, so to speak. Um, so that's why I bumped this up a little bit. I haven't noticed performance drop in making this higher. So um, actually kind of a performance improvement. So it is, unfortunately, I don't think that one is what's affecting, what's causing this issue here on the wall. And it might be, let me see, where was I? Was it in this room or what room was I in? Maybe somewhere around here. Yeah, let's use this one here because you can see like there's like all this light leaking and it's pretty darn aggressive. So let's see if I change that back. Will that be, yeah, hey, so that's part of it. Oh, that's actually, see, that's something that I was working on. And while it does do well for like things in the distance, when it comes to down here, see, this is what's happening. But you can counteract that with the distribution exponent. So basically, you can bump that distance up, and then also adjust the this distribution exponent. Oh man, English. Talk about English. And so that should help with this light leakage. Now, the other thing is, unfortunately, that red that you were seeing is this light coming from the emissive. So I'm not entirely sure how to. I've been trying to look at that, and maybe if you decrease the emissive, it's gonna be a little bit less. But see, it just kind of that light as you go farther away, it doesn't it gets a little bit better, but it's still a little off. Um, so as far as let's actually look at, I think the more important, because Lumen takes care of a lot of this stuff for you, but you also, if you want some of this lighting inside here, you still need to play around with the post-process volume. So let me share a few of the settings as how I've set up my post-process volumes. And yeah, welcome, Eric, welcome. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad you like it. And so, and Legends Never Die. As far as services like 3D modeling, is that what you were asking me, or you were asking somebody else on the chat? Yeah. So let's go back to kind of an interior post-process volume. And also, if anybody is wondering, so this is my scalability settings. I am running on a really old 1070. So nothing, it's, nothing above medium level video cards uh, used in the making of this video. Yeah. All right. So back to this post-process volume. Yeah, feel free to pause at any time. But I was, kind of playing around with the mean EV and exposure compensation. And let's see what else in here. The main thing that I was doing is, excuse me. Let's see. I think I was playing around with the shadows a little bit. Sometimes you can add a little bit of saturation as well as contrast if you so choose. Like just to change how this looks inside here. But the main thing that I was looking into is when it comes to lumen, and so down here for the interior of the hotel. And under advanced, I was playing a little bit around, playing a little bit with the skylight leaking, because if this one usually is set to 0, and if you bump it up a little bit, you get a little bit more light injected in there. So I think this would be um, this is something that this is something that I'm using as well. But again, with the caveat of keeping an eye on it, and don't go too far out. Let me see, where was I? 0.002. So it's just a little bit of an a added kind of value. Of course, some of these I can probably bring them down a little bit. I don't need all that kind of quality, but but yeah, that's pretty much where most of the work is done when it comes to getting some interior lighting. And so, for example, in another location in the hotel would be down here. So similar thing here. This is part of the same post-process volume. I don't have any other lights added to this. Like there's no other like uh, you could add like a rectangular light in the window if you so choose. But let me see down here. So for example, that's what I've done over here, though I don't feel it's really needed. Like this one, this rectangular light. Um, it does help adding, kind of really brightening it up. So, but yeah, World Unbound, just as in a nutshell, that's what I was doing as far as interior lighting. Um, nothing too out of this world. And then yeah, definitely play around with the contrast and maybe the gain a little bit to if you want to change how it looks, and also like the lookup table. Um, so, just to give it a little bit of a different tint to the world or something like that. All right, well, let's see if we can jump in here, and let me see where my player start is, and we'll play around with taking down some enemies. Player start. But yeah, like I said, with the caveat that takes a little bit of time to load into it. And let's just make it this to be a dev mode. And let's also just need to assign this guy a dialogue. And this guy, he is actually Julian. And the dialogue is to save his wife. I can't remember if I needed to name this, but let's do it real quick. And it is a two-way convo. And we'll also place a few, these are like consumables, so we'll also look at that as far as picking up item if you're damaged, like you're gonna I'm gonna start the player off with, right after you fall, you're low on health, right? And let's also place like the first weapon that you're gonna get, which is a bow and a few arrows. So let's place it down here. Oh, I could have made this one so it's like flat on the ground like that. And arrow. 1, 2, and 3. Did I put 3 here already? I think so. All right, and let's also place, because the mission is going to be to rescue his wife. That is going to be um, at the motel. And this, he is actually taking him hostage. So I think just standing like this is going to be okay. All right, but I'm going to need to spawn a couple of more enemies down here at the motel. And we'll try and use the bow to take these guys out. We'll see how that's going to work out. First time testing this, guys, so uh, hopefully things are going to work out as uh, really, really good. But all right, so let's put this guy over here. He's going to look towards the road. So right now they're not going to be patrolling. They're just going to be hanging out here because since it takes so long to jump into the game, it's going to be um, and I die because these guys are kind of aggressive, at least the way I have them set up at the moment. All right, well, let's get into it. Hey, awesome. You guys connected. That's good. That's good. Um, and like I said, Discord is also a good place where some of you can connect as well and share some things. We've had some people share some really cool, interesting things that I've learned from. There's like a little game dev channel on there. So uh, there were a few things that I'm like, oh my God, you can really do that? Then and that came in handy for me. All right, so let's see. We're probably 30 seconds in, and it should be loading any minute now, I hope. But yeah, we'll see how this works out. Hopefully, it's not gonna, um, you know, bite me back for trying. But okay, so we are in the world. Let's see. Do we have the enemy? Where is the enemy? I thought we were gonna have the enemy spawned. Oh man, that's a bummer. And unfortunately, this guy is in a being taken hostage mode, so you can't really interact with him. So let me see if, what am I climbing on here? I'm, oh my God, I think this is the tent. Jeez, what's going on? Oh, I feel so bad about these guys because I wish I could like jump out of game. And is this even possible? Can I at least move this? Um, Come on, where is that? I want to pick up that bow and move it outside of that collision area. Yeah, I guess you can do that. That was wishful thinking. But the question is, why isn't this? I might need to be a little bit higher. I might have a little bit when I spawned the enemies, it might have spawned right, touching the terrain, and it just might have fell through the terrain. But let me see what's going on with this tent because Why can't I pick up anything? Let's see, collision, show simple collision. Yeah, that is not the collision for this tent. What are you smoking? All right, so let's actually, um, can we regenerate it? I thought there was collision. Let's see, maybe this. No, that's still weird. That's a lot better. Let's see, was it simplified? Okay, I think that should be good enough. Though, let's just leave it without collision for now. I'll uh I'll make it right later on. Yeah, hey, so Bob, it did load, and unfortunately it took forever. Well, I mean, a minute is forever, but yeah, that's one of the things that I was, should I try doing this during the stream? It's just going to be annoying, but I'm going to be rambling on for a little bit, and yeah, but so once you again, this is literally like once you land. I wish I could have shown the landing. I'm gonna try and figure out why that is. The landing works fine in the test level, like once you jump out of the airplane, but in here it just kind of starts sliding you all the way to the origin of the world, which is weird. So yeah, it's I don't really know why that is. So I'm hopefully gonna figure that out, but yeah, in the meantime, let's see what we can do. Did the enemy spawn this time? There he is. Okay, so let's try and not be seen because I'm pretty much dead at that point. I should have like spawned him like to face that guy. So let me take this guy out. And oh, and I missed to get this guy to actually, get out of his being taken hostage mode and into, okay, I can talk to this guy now. Well, let's pick up a bow. This would be a good test because I haven't tested it out in a while. So let's see how it works. Oh, damn it. I forgot about this. So I have these, the reason that you're seeing the, let me go into like third person. The reason that he's doing this is he is, and you can see like the actor being hit on the side for whatever reason, um, and or uh, the um, the procedural foliage volumes, they throw an overlap event somehow, and I wasn't able to figure it out, but I should be actually doing, and this again happens in the editor, not in the build game. But while in the editor, and I was really okay. Let's try this one more time. We'll try and get this guy to hopefully um, once the enemy is dead. Where is it? Where did I set this up? Taken hostage, and this guy is the one that is actor to interact, and it would be this guy. So hopefully. If I have this set up right, once this guy is taken down, there's like an enable interface event that's going to be sent over to this guy, and this guy is going to be like, oh, I can wake up now. And but the other thing was with the procedural volumes is that I need to try and like bump them up a little bit. So these volumes here, right? Um, See, if I have this turned off, this generate overlap events, when I try to see if, because the weapon goes up so that if you were to hit a wall, you don't go with the weapon through the wall. So that's why that is in place. The problem is that apparently when it sees one of those procedural foliage volumes, they they do the same thing, so it thinks that it's hitting something. So let me bring these up a little bit. And apologies again, but we'll jump into game mode. And I'll also test if this guy gets enabled, and we can talk to him. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything else. These rocks are kind of funky here that it's let me see the way they are being spawned. Um, what was the proper method for this so that it does not trace complex? It does have trace complex on. All right, so at least I can ignore the actors. Okay, so that's a little bit better for now. Okay, let's try waiting for a minute again. So Bob, how come you took a break from UE? Oh, you are you just taking a break now or some time ago? And was it just like there was not enough time to spend in it or? Yeah, let's see when this loads. And like I said, that's what with that loading screen, up until 5.2, it was working fine. So what you would get this little blank, black screen now with on your own logo and with a little bit of a loading spinning thing. And you could tell that, you know what, something's being loaded on the background. Yeah, it took a little bit of time because the level of optimization that I currently have, but you were getting some kind of feedback from the main level blueprint. Like, hey, there's something going on. Oh yeah, yeah, 2D concept art. I think you mentioned some of that, right? Oh, and actually, I don't think you can hear anything from the world, so let me turn on the desktop audio. So let's take good care of this guy. Yeah, so this guy is still not being enabled. Okay, I'll have to see what that is. Again, it's a different actor than the one that I had in the. All right, so that one works. Let's go and take a look at. Oh, man, what was that? Of course, something that I didn't want happened. I somehow landed inside of the rock. How did I manage to do that? Jeez Louise. That is so weird. Well, it doesn't look like today is my day for showing this off. Oh, I see. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. Oh, what light were you looking at? Why did why did I get kicked all the way into the wall? I'm wondering if there was some weird there might have been some kind of weird stuff between the bow, could have been. Though these don't have collisions, so I'm gonna try and equip the bow once we get a little closer to the motel. Hopefully not that's gonna what was I gonna say? It's not gonna interact with any kind of weird collisions and throw me into the rock. I'm not sure how that happened. Oh, can you hear me now? I'm not sure. I don't think I turned off my microphone. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I'm glad you like it. It's been uh, a lot of iterations at it. There is. Oh, okay. Perfect, perfect. Thank you for that. So yeah, it's been a few. I've taken a few goes at the at setting up the lighting. Oh, it was too loud in the game. Okay, so let me turn down the volume for my desktop audio. Hopefully, let me know if that's a little bit better. All right, so let's do the deed again. And if we do, okay, perfect, thank you. So if we do end up running into that issue where we'll see. Okay, so let's go to the motel this time around. Hopefully we can make it all the way there. Okay. I think we can try and... Should I try to equip it now? Okay, let's just go there. Um, hey, Imod, welcome. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to share, not, um, hopefully the audio is not too loud, but yeah, I'm trying to share kind of updates from uh, the work that I've done during the week or during, since the last stream. The, it's sometimes I try to do some development as well during the stream, but I don't want to share too much of my struggling with some of the things that sometimes I have trouble with. So that's why I don't do as much of actual like, let's go into this blueprint and make these changes. But yeah, so at this point, you would have had the interaction. For example, the mission is still saved. And for those that haven't seen this yet, this is how you can have a couple of options. You can either go with like a simple UI, or you can have like the actual 3D device or 3D object in your hands, but that would mean you have to unequip your weapon. And with that, it's kind of it would put a break um, in the gameplay, right? So say you're in a battle, or not a battle, but you're in a firefight with some of the enemies, like we're gonna try and do now. Hopefully the bow is not gonna kick me out somewhere. Oh shoot, it's hitting something. What the heck is going on? So this is uh great. What are we doing all the way back here? Jeez. Yeah, there's something the matter with the bow. So my bad, guys. I was hoping that I could show you how at least, I can show you when it's falling. I went under the map. No, actually I'm swimming. Oh, check this out. This is gonna be fun. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to to, to come up from under the map, which is gonna be funky, but um hey Kevin, thank you so much for stopping by. Um yeah, thank you, thank you. There's I mean, there's some mega scans in here, but the vegetation, I don't have anything mega scans when it comes to the vegetation. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm not going to be able to come out through the terrain. That's a bummer. I was hoping that I could do that. So something that I need to look at and see what's going on in this level when it comes to the collisions with the bow or the arrows. Um, yeah, because it works fine in my test level. So there's something in the world here that is kind of it's having a fit. And previously it was with the procedural foliage volumes are creating some of these troubles where um, there's like they show up in like my traces, right? So I need to look at and see why that is. So, hey, Imod, yeah, hey, thank you for all the way from Bangladesh. Happy to have you. Happy to have you. And so, yeah, I'll see. I'll definitely look at that and try and figure out before next stream. Okay. So I was thinking for the rest of the stream would be to try and get I mean I could let's see if anybody's interested I can show you what how this would happen in my test level where I know there's no issues with collisions but let me let me know if you wanna see that. So basically, you know, showing you how the interaction works with the NPC, like the actual interaction, and you know, getting the mission, um, and going over to how you would use the bow to take down an enemy and some of the weapons. Kevin, how much time have you, do you mean like how much time did I spend on the building the level, the world? This project has been, it's a project passion of mine, and I started it, so let's see, what is it now, 2025? I started it in 2013 in CryEngine, and I spent maybe 5 years or so until like middle of 2018, I would say, in CryEngine, and then I decided to move over to Unreal, and then I started from scratch, literally from scratch in Unreal. And so I would say, what is it, like 8 years? Seven, I would say. Yeah, so it's going to be 7 years since I started working with Unreal. And so this project, I would say, maybe um, at least the big part of that because I went through a couple of iterations with it when it came to like design and what I wanted to do. I had to tone down my expectations, my what was I was kind of thinking of it. Oh, I'm gonna need to do it, 4 by 4 kilometer map, like a really type of big type of thing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna have the time to do that. Between my day job and the having to adult, you know, I'm probably not gonna have the time. So I that's why I kind of brought it down to this world, which is about the navigable area is about 2 by 2 kilometers, I would say. So you can like, from this corner to here to down here over where the dam is, and all the way to this corner where um, this would be like the mobile home park, and there's like a couple of other things happening in this area. So yeah, I wanted to kind of keep it contained. And along with that, just implementing mechanics, learning the engine, um, creating some of the assets that I couldn't find. Um, so yeah, it's since I'm literally like the name of the project is on your own, since I'm on my own, I have to do everything myself. And so luckily with the marketplace, which is a godsend, the marketplace is awesome. I can save a lot of time on some of these assets. Some of some of the plugins that I use, like for example the dialogue plugin, the save plugin, which is very very useful, and that I've actually just implemented this week. So being able to save um, inventory, uh, player position, NPCs, things that I picked up off the map and so on. So that was very useful. But yeah, so effectively, it could be you could look at it 7 years, but this is part-time 7 years, so it's not full-time. Hey, Pesh Pesh, welcome, welcome, hello. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi. It's been a process, and slowly, just keeping at it. It's just things get added, right? So you see, and that's why I try to do these streams as well, because there's like updates from week to week. It might not be big. I think this week was a little bit bigger because I haven't done a stream last week, but it was pretty big in the sense of the things that got implemented, like um, the dialogue, being able to interact with an NPC and the second time you interact with them, not play the same identical dialogues again, but kind of, you go up to him and he's like, "Hey, can you help me out?" Like this guy, you know, my wife has been kidnapped. Can you go and rescue her? And if you say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I'll help you," the next time you come back to talk to him, if your mission hasn't been completed, is like, "Hey, were you able to find my wife?" So he doesn't say again, "Well, hey, uh, thank you for coming back. Can you help me find my wife?" And so just that little small detail that was really exciting. And of course, with the save, which is pretty important, right? That was a big step. Um, yeah, well, thank you, Kevin. And I think that's also part of why I try to do the stream is just I've heard that from other people, as well that trying to to find a way to keep going at it. And yeah, there's definitely the thing of like I've hit my head on that as well, just trying to set a goal that is attainable, achievable, and yeah, it's the other thing is, and this is what's sometimes might be a little bit difficult, is take for example Far Cry. Like I think with Far Cry, since it's a kind of a franchise and across its releases, mechanics are still similar, like or almost identical. And so I think that's very important with a game and being able to establish the mechanics. So for example, once I have everything in place, it'd be, you know, um, a lot easier to start because for this project, I plan to have a part two, like where the action moves into like a bigger city type of thing. And um, so this would be kind of like a part one. You kind of find out what was going on in this area, right? In this town, and then kind of a part two to follow that down and kind of deal with it further. So, but yeah, having mechanics in place, at least the ones that I want to have, they might not be the same or useful for other things, but I'm a fan of first person shooters, right? So, I want to have the ability of a simple inventory, not necessarily crafting. I'm not so much interested in that, but um, you know, the ability to save games, ability to interact with NPCs, that's another thing that I really like, like in a story. While I like games like Doom and stuff like that, where it's just like, kill everything, I like the types of games like, Days Gone or Far Cry, where you have to interact with NPCs, you get missions and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, hopefully that makes a little sense about the history of the project and my experience with it. I wish I had more time to spend during the week, but especially within the last year or so, I've been a lot more busy at work with people leaving, and sometimes there is definitely weekends where I have nothing to show because I didn't get around to do too much. So, but yeah, any progress is progress, and every time I'm doing something, I'm hoping to make as much progress as possible. And there's things that you can't control. So yeah, if I was to be like in Star Trek, where everybody's just pursuing their passions, you know, you don't have to worry about a roof over your head and food and travel, perfect. Um, you could pursue like something like this, but you know, you got to adult sometimes. So, guys, let's I was kind of thinking of when I started the stream to start adding a few more items around this parking lot. But since there's a few new people on here, maybe what I'll do for the rest of the stream, let's actually go into this test level and show you a little bit of the kind of how the combat works, how the bow works, the machine gun, like the machine, the rifle, um, and also the save mechanism, the menu, picking up some consumables and Yeah. So let's take a look where we are here. First, let me just uh, cancel out or restore the the game itself when it comes to the missions. So let me try and delete save game, and also we'll do a couple of enemies maybe, just so that I can show you a little bit of the um, of taking some of them down, right? So let's do one over here, and maybe we'll do another one over here, and we'll set this guy to patrol, and this guy, he's just gonna hang out over here. Okay. Oh yeah, I think it might have been like the character to interact where you actually set it so that it's freeing him. Let's actually test that out. So I'm gonna do a third spawner. And so kind of just the start of the game, but in a test environment. Yeah. So let's actually turn this guy. This is gonna be where was him? Idle status, being taken hostage, and then this guy. Um, let's. I hope I'm remembering this correctly. Active to interact state. Let's make sure that I'm doing this right. This is, I mean, this is kind of what's tough at times, you know, when you do every little thing in a project is, well, how did I do this? You know, kind of like in the case of this, you know, I've added these variables, you know, where you can like, this can patrol, it can interact with something, or the character to interact. So I can't recall which one of these is going to turn this guy to not be in a being taken hostage state anymore. So let's give this a try, and we'll also do kind of like a takedown with
I
the
would have
bow.
told you all I know. Please.
All right, so let's pick up a couple of arrows, or at least how many we can. I guess I picked them up. Oh yeah, so I think this one is hitting in something. But okay, so this guy was taken down, but he's not going back into his regular state. So let's also try and do this. All right, so for now, so that was let's do the rifle this time. So just because, as you can see, you know, I have very little or no UI, which is what I was trying to do. So you can see like on the rifle, um, I actually looked it up, and these like ammo counters, they're actually a thing. So it's not like anything sci-fi as far as this goes. Um, so that didn't really do it. That's kind of a bummer. Oh God, now I called the other guys here. Some of these guys heard it. Okay, so there we go. Not sure where the other guy is. Yeah, there is something going on with the weapons themselves. They're kind of hitting something because I saw that one with the Oh yeah, and since we are doing this, you can see like the weapon, the health kind of decreasing on the end. Um, but now I have so much health that it's kind of like it's not even fair. So let me. This guy is like really annoying. I'm wondering if it might be the projectile. I wonder what it could be. That is. Come on, guy, just chill. Um, so it's just FPP. So that's it's not like the what I use is this advanced locomotion system, which has been around for a while. So you can switch like right now into like third person, but I'm not going to be using that because there's definitely some animations that I'm doing that in third person would look really funky. Yeah, there you go, Kevin. Dead Space is a really favorite game of mine, so that could be it as well, you know. Um, okay, so I was talking about the UI. Unfortunately, when that guy died, the old detection thing didn't go away. So when it comes to the UI, there's an option that I've set in my menu. Actually, not here, but in settings. So you can either use a HUD or you can use the 3D the 3D model, you know, that has the same display. So for example, when I if I was to do that, unfortunately it's not attaching to the hand, so I need to fix it, but you can see how the this would be how it is. You know, you would literally hold that little device down there in your hand like this. And but that would interrupt the gameplay. So you know, you got to consider which one you want to go with. All right, but let's also do let's kind of quit out of this and actually not make this guy be in a. I need to figure out why that is. What's going on there? So let's
Please don't shoot. I
go
don't know where they
ahead
are.
and you know, in the background that guy is like pleading for his life. You know, please don't shoot, what have you. All right, so when you interact with this with Julian, this would be whoops. Let me interact with him from a different angle because the text is white, so you can't really tell much. Okay, so and you probably already seen that the first time you interacted, it gave you a different message than it does now. So right now it says, "Hey, can you help?" It's like, okay, I'm listening. So he's talking about his wife Elise that's being held hostage at the motel that we looked at. And you can say, you know, hey, you can back out of this. Say you can't help right now, or okay, you know, or okay, I help you out. So if you were to say can't help right now, that that discussion point is a node, important node in the thing. So it's going to play again, you know. So I need your help first. So I'm going to say, okay, I'll help you out. So now you get the mission. The mission gets assigned. And actually, let's go back to using the HUD. So now you can what it should have, I'm not sure why it's not showing that. Uh, the mission should actually, I think I might have shown it at the beginning of the stream. The mission should show up on the device, right? Where it's pointing you to where you need to go. You have the little distance there in the corner. Let me see. I think if I go full screen, you should be able to see it a little bit better. But if you go back to this guy before completing the mission, he's gonna say, "Hey, were you able to find her?" Like, you know, no yet. I still got a few things to do, so still need to go and do some other things. Okay, so let's take a look at the. I was talking about, you know, picking up resources or picking up. Let's take a little bit of damage. So then, you know, once you pick up a consumable, you'll see that the I'm not sure if you can get the audio. It sounds like a bear. I don't know why. It's like I think it's playing a little slower than, oh, now that I think about it, yeah. So I've reduced the pitch. So it's playing slower than it should. But you can see like the health got replenished. So for example, if I was to die, so this is kind of just like a dead area or like an area where you take damage. There's going to be like some devices they need to interact with in order to diffuse, and they would, they would do damage. So you got to do, defuse these devices before they end up killing you. But let's see what else. Oh yeah, so you'll be able to drive a couple of
Please
vehicles.
don't shoot. Please,
One of
I
them is
know.
going to be, let me take this guy out because he's going to shoot, and noise is going to attract the other guys. But yeah, so you're gonna have there's gonna be a few simple mission in the game where you'd be able to drive this little forklift, and so the mission is just gonna be a lot about like loading some pallets, and it's gonna be around that chemical factory. But yeah, the forklift itself, really works pretty nicely on physical assets. So this I've tried this like the first time I've got the forklift to work. And yeah, you're able to like do things like this. And so this would be kind of like the forklift, and then with the vehicle, there's going to be a few options where you can like and I think I can interact with it. I'm not sure why. That you can drive it for a little bit, but it's not going to be like if you think of it like um, a Far Cry, where you can just jump in a vehicle and go everywhere. It's not going to be to that extent. The vehicle can, you can run people over, like enemies, but it's not going to be like, oh, I can find a vehicle like at every street corner. So yeah, the bad guys also on the map, they have these kinds of. I actually haven't tested this out yet, which would be nice to test it right now. So they have these, I'm not sure, I like to call them like a blocking type of element where you won't be able to get past these. These deal like huge damage. So let's actually see if this is still the case. I want to see how much. Hopefully it's not too loud from the audio. Yeah, so see, this is what's happening. So that turret the turret will track you around when it sees you. So this is just to block you from going into certain areas. Like if you think of, again, I go back to Far Cry and Days Gone. There's those areas where there's like a tunnel that you could leave the area, and but the tunnel is collapsed, or there's something going on there that you can't get past it. Just to kind of limit you from going off the map. So this is the way that I have this done. It's like kind of I didn't want to make it a collapsed tunnel because you can still see, like, I make it so that you can still see there's like something at the end of the tunnel. Basically, you're not um, there is something besides this map, right? Which, with a collapsed tunnel, there's like, oh, okay, well, I'm just trapped here, kind of thing, right? But these guys have the bad guys have put these military trucks just to block you from leaving the area. And but there is something, you give the player the idea that there is something behind this area. And so that's why I went with these guys. And right now, I guess I need to make it so that they do. Let's actually take a look at this real quick. We'll do a quick test uh, to get it to deal some damage, and because apparently I'm not entirely sure why it does not deal damage. Um, let's take a quick look. Or actually, maybe I have an idea. I think, I hope. I'm wondering if, yeah, I've set the damage to 0. That could do it. So what I had done is the damage when I spawn it is just 0. So let me adjust that. Maybe I'll make it 100. That would be a pretty quick takedown by this guy. So let's see how quick
Please
that
don't
would
shoot.
happen.
I don't know where they are.
Hopefully it works. So you can see like it's like pretty quick. It could be a little bit higher because right now this character has like a ton of life, but you know that's the end of your story there. Fortunately, they still shoot at you once you're dead, so I need to address that. But and again, kind of takes me to this is also a good reason for streaming. There's like some things that I identify like bugs while I do the stream, so that's also helpful. Yeah, so like I said, there's gonna be like again to new people watching this, there's gonna be like a number of main NPCs that you can interact with, and there's gonna be like the filler NPCs like these guys that they just either like hang in one spot or they go around and do an activity. You know, like I've set up this activity system where maybe they would go and sit down or they would go and lay down, sleep somewhere. So they wouldn't you wouldn't be able to interact with them. They would look at you, you know, kind of like we were doing with I can show you real quick. So let me delete some of these enemies so that way or actually no, I'm gonna leave them in place and test the bow one
I
more
already
time.
told you all I know.
Hey
Please.
Jack, hey, how's it going? So I'm gonna go and grab the bow this time so that way um, we can have this a little bit stealthier. Yeah, see, this is it's hitting something, but what? Oh shoot, this guy is like that's no bueno. That guy was I forgot that guy was patrolling, so I had to do it.
Please
uh,
don't shoot. I
I
don't know
didn't
where
do it
they
the right
are.
way. So let's grab these 3 arrows, then the bow. By mistake, I placed these guys like in such a way that yeah, see, what is it colliding with? And so there's this little prediction line that I'm doing. What the heck is it colliding with? Could it be colliding with itself? That's okay. I'll need to check that. But yeah, so there's this little prediction line that I'm trying to see if I can get it so it's a little bit better, you know, more visible. Oh, there we go. Hey, I landed. I landed one on that one, on that guy. All right, let me yeah, Pesh, I think you're right. That's probably what it is. All right, so whoa, look at that guy go. Anyways, all right, let me holster this. Maybe it's just not. I'm gonna get rid of this issue. All right, so for example, these guys are just gonna be hanging out here, and I thought they. Oh no, so they're in a state right now where they're literally ignoring you. There's other states where they might look at you, you know, like and I still need to fix a couple of things with these pants. I have a set of pants where I didn't set the skeleton to the right thing, so that's why they're like that. But they're gonna be kind of acknowledging you like this. I mean like these guys. So and they have their little kind of facial expressions where they're a little just ignoring you. But but yeah, the main characters they're just gonna completely rotate to you, and they're gonna be able you're gonna be able to interact with them. You know, so um, and actually have, like the dialogues. But yeah, that was actually a good sesh today, guys. I think I did find some bugs. Um, so hopefully get those fixed before the next stream. But thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I really appreciate that. Hopefully it was something interesting to see, um, and I hope that for at least FPS whip, hopefully the explanation that I had at the beginning of the game helped you out with the way I do like the pickup, and hopefully that gives you an idea. So, no stream next Saturday. Maybe Sunday. It depends on. I need to do a quick trip, and I think I may be back on Sunday, but I'm not entirely sure at what time. So there might not be a stream next week, but definitely the week after that. Um, so yeah, guys, again, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it, and have a great rest of your Sunday. Um, or into Monday morning, and a great week. And we'll see you next time. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Thank you, Pesh. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody else.